About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see.
Get the instant advantage in every relationship. The 4 biggest mistakes and how to avoid them. You hate playing games, I know. But you're playing them anyway, so you might as well win. Whether it's business or personal, the rules are the same to gain the upper hand in any relationship. When dating, have you wondered why it seems it's the ones that you don't really like whom you can't seem to get rid of, and the ones you do like who never seem to stick around? The reason is simple. It's not the person, but the way you behave toward him or her. What determines interest in another human being is a fascinating thing. Most people are actually on the fence at the start of most relationships. This means that almost every time someone can be swayed toward either liking or disliking you. And he has moved in either direction, either closer or farther, depending on how you relate to him. This is because as human beings, we are forever guided and governed by human nature. The bottom line is that it's not the person you're dating, it's the things you are doing that determine his or her level of interest. Otherwise, it would be a startling coincidence, if not a statistical improbability, that everyone you liked just happened to not want a commitment, and everyone you weren't that interested in wanted to marry you. So if it's not you, defined as your looks, personality, background, and so on, it must be your behavior toward this person that determines the direction and, ultimately, the outcome of the relationship. This very powerful yet simple psychological strategy can be summed up in one sentence. You need to behave with the person you don't like the way you've been behaving with the person you do like, and vice versa. While there are many little aspects of one's behavior, there are 4 main factors, which will now be discussed. Availability. People want what they can't have. By constantly making yourself available, you're actually diminishing your value. This is not a trick or a game to play, but a function of human behavior. Attraction is not a fixed value. This means that what someone thinks about you is determined to a large extent by what you do, not by just who you are or what you look like. The law of scarcity is prevalent and relevant in every area of our lives, especially here. That which is plentiful is often underappreciated, and that which is rare is held in high regard and considered valuable. When you are dating someone whom you are not that interested in, you tend to make yourself available when it's convenient for you. And when you're dating someone who you really like, you're consistently available. Do the reverse. This means when you're dating someone you don't like too much, if you're not baking cookies for him, calling him twice a day, asking where the relationship is going, and so on, then don't do it with the person you like. And by the way, when you do this with the ones you don't like, they'll be scared off soon enough, so you've eliminated this problem as well. But wait. In Chapter 1, Get Anyone to Like You Every Time, we said that if you want someone to like you, you want to make yourself available, because this increases liking. If this is so, doesn't it contradict the law of scarcity? Here's what is often misunderstood. If you want someone to like you, then you do indeed want to be in their company fairly often. This is true, but remember that liking is the foundation for every relationship. That means that once you move past the liking stage, meaning the person is already fond of you, and the relationship unfolds into something more serious, you then want to limit your availability. PowerPoint. Here's a question. Don't we often see good-looking people with attractive partners and vice versa? If attraction has little to do with appearance, then why is this so? It's because we are often most comfortable with those of similar levels of attractiveness. This coincides with studies that show that people are generally friends with those of similar levels of attractiveness. A good-looking person can sometimes make a less attractive person feel uncomfortable. So this less attractive person tends to lose perspective and act differently, meaning that she puts the person on a pedestal and does the 4 things outlined in this chapter that she shouldn't be doing. But it's the things that she's doing, not her, the physical person, that makes the difference. This is validated by the fact that sometimes attractive people are with less attractive people. In these relationships, it's likely that the less attractive person feels confident about the relationship and hence behaves differently than their less attractive counterparts. This confidence is replicated here when we apply the 4 factors to gaining leverage in the relationship. Perspective. In your relationships, you need perspective. In life, when we derive pleasure from only one source, we tend to overemphasize its value and importance. You should find meaning in your life outside of the relationship, so this person doesn't become your whole world. It's important to feel fulfilled in other areas of your life, so you're able to maintain a sensible perspective and not rely on someone else's affection as your sole source of satisfaction and happiness. When you're dating someone you're not too interested in, you have plenty of perspective because you're not thinking, "This is the only person for me. If I don't have him, my world is over." You're thinking, "All right, let's see what happens. Maybe he'll grow on me and maybe he won't." And it's precisely that mentality that translates into the best attitude. And it's this attitude and your corresponding behavior that actually make you more attractive. Passion. Here's the crux of how and why relationships work or fail. Simply, you can't appreciate what you take for granted. This is essentially why people, in general, become unhappy in their own lives. They always want more, but are never grateful for what they have. And if you are not grateful for what you have, you will begin to take it for granted. And when you do this, you no longer appreciate it. And when you don't appreciate something, it holds no enjoyment for you. The same holds true for relationships. If someone takes you for granted, he or she will not appreciate you and will begin to look for someone else. Similarly, if you went to the doctor and were told that you might lose your hearing, you would probably develop a renewed appreciation for sound. Our gratitude lies in being reminded that we should not take these things for granted. And you don't take for granted what you believe can be taken away from you at any time. Similarly, if the object of your affections is a bit insecure with the relationship, meaning there is an element of doubt, then his or her lack of confidence will not lead to arrogance and ingratitude. You must create an element of uncertainty, or you will lose the passion that drives the relationship. PowerPoint. Since it's possible for someone to be taken away from us at any time, by accident, by illness, why do you have to create more doubt? If you're in love, you don't. This is for those who are not yet at that stage, for whom we artificially and temporarily create the same atmosphere of uncertainty. Again, without some doubt, there is the feeling that you will always be there. Then he no longer sees how great you are and loses appreciation for you. He begins to take you for granted and the passion dies. But you, in your relationship, can within a second reignite the passion and turn the relationship around by introducing an element of doubt. Passion is extinguished when there is no doubt, because when there's no doubt, you will be taken for granted. Just as in the previous example of going to the doctor, you never gave your hearing a second thought until you thought that it might not be there. When doubt is introduced into the equation, it changes your perspective. I cannot stress this enough. You will be taken for granted and not appreciated, and the passion will go out of the relationship if all elements of doubt are removed. Unfortunately, when we are insecure about a relationship, we harm it further by being clingier because we need reassurance. But in doing so, you reinforce that you are forever his and remove in his mind any doubt that you might not always be there. And then passion is extinguished. It is a fact of human nature. But now that you understand, you can use it to your advantage. Remember that this and the other factors in this chapter are not ideas or tricks that work sometimes. These are laws that dictate human behavior. If you use them and operate within these parameters, you can succeed at gaining complete leverage in any relationship. But finally, make sure that you don't make the mistake that most do when it comes to how you make them feel. PowerPoint. Why can't I have an open, honest, and trusting relationship? You can, of course, but you have to wait until you are in love with each other. And here's why. The previous 3 tactics are ego-based and are designed to get you to this point, but should be discontinued so that you can move on to a mature and lasting relationship. Briefly, love is the absence of ego or the I. And once love takes root, the dynamics of the relationship change so that the more the person is available and the more he does for you, the more you love him. As far as passion goes, you need only introduce some uncertainty should you feel that you are being taken for granted. How you make them feel. A person likes you based on how you make her feel about herself. This doesn't contradict the previous PowerPoint. You should still maintain that behavior regarding your attitude and availability, but you do want to treat the person well. It is bad advice, though often given, that you don't want to build up someone's confidence and be overly flattering and complimentary, because then she will know that you like her and back off. To a degree, we know this can be true because when someone likes us, while we are flattered, we can find ourselves less interested in that person. This reaction comes courtesy of the rule that says, we want what we can't have and want more of that which we have to work for. Simply, if it falls in our laps, we tend to have less appreciation for it. But herein lies the crucial difference between being attentive and kind versus telling her that she is your entire world and the only person for you. Because, as we talked about, this removes doubt and begins to erode the passion. The former is more objective and has to do primarily with her. The latter involves your relationship and invokes the rule of scarcity. Notice the crucial difference between saying how much you like this person, which makes you lose leverage, and telling her that she is a likable and great person. Merely stating that somebody is terrific makes her feel great and makes you look great. It's a winning combination because it's only the confident person who tells another how wonderful and terrific she is. And we like confident and secure people. The distinction is often blurred and we end up trying to play it cool and not wanting to show our hand. This accomplishes little and creates a cold and uncomfortable atmosphere. But lavishing this person with objective praise shows you in the best and most confident light and makes her feel great. Again, you want to let her know that you think she's great, but not that she is your whole world and that you can't live without her. The fastest way to lose leverage and to lose someone that you like is to do the opposite of the preceding strategy. That means making yourself completely available, having no perspective, removing all doubt, and being uncomplimentary. Do this, and you can be sure that you'll be back dating someone whom you don't like very much. And he'll stick around because you'll do all the right things. Strategy review. People want what they can't have, and they want more of what they have to work for. If you are easy to come, then you may be easy to let go. If you have an unbalanced life, you will have a distorted view of the relationship. Balance gives you perspective, and perspective allows you to make better decisions in the relationship. When all doubt is removed, the person will take you for granted. Introduce an element of uncertainty to instantly reignite the passion. A person likes you based, in part, on how you make her feel about herself. Make her feel good, and she will feel good about you. Listen through the tactics in the following chapter to round out your overall strategy.